Hey, it's Karen here. And today I want to talk about a wealth pyramid concept, and I think it's really valuable to use when you're setting financial goals. So, what I'm going to do is share my screen, and I just want to share this slide with you. So, basically, this concept was created by a very successful property investor in Australia named Micheal Yardney. And he has this wealth pyramid model that I really like to use as a framework when you're making financial goals. So he says there's 5 levels of wealth essentially. So the first level is that level 0 down the bottom, it's financial instability. And what we mean by this is it's an individual that is living paycheck to paycheck. There's the money's always run out at the end of the month. So it's a really precarious financial position to be in, because if you were to have something go wrong, that either you lost your job or your car broke down or something like that, you wouldn't have the financial resources to actually pay for it. So that would mean either going into debt or perhaps relying on government payments. So that's that first level, financial instability. The next level up from there, level 1, is financial stability. So here at this level, an individual has saved up a bit of an emergency fund. So they've got kind of like a bit of a cash buffer there. And they might have done this to amount that would fund them for a couple of months of their living costs. So understanding what your monthly living costs are, or your fortnightly living costs, are really important in terms of wealth creation. So at this level of financial stability, they've built up a financial buffer for a couple of months of living costs, and they also have all of their insurances in place, like life insurance, insurance over your assets like car and home, things like that. So that level is financial stability. There's a bit of stability there in terms of that something was to go wrong, you'd have a little bit of a safety net underneath you. Now, the next level up from there is financial security. And at this level, an individual has created enough wealth and built up enough assets that those assets are generating an income for them. And that income is enough to pay for their basic cost of living. So in Australia, most people are looking for that financial security level at retirement. So maybe by 65, they can have their basic needs met in terms of their basic expenses, which might come from a source of a combination of their superannuation that they've saved over their lifetime and perhaps a bit of government age pension. So that financial security, if we use an example, say that your basic cost of living is $30,000 a year or $2,500 per month. And this basic cost of living covers your housing, your car, your food, your utilities. It's just the basics. So say it is that 30,000. And if you've funded that yourself, that might look like some superannuation or some assets at retirement of $650,000, which is generating enough income to just meet those basic level, and then it might be topped up from some age pension. So that is the level of financial security. A lot of your basic needs are met. So if something was to go wrong, you'd have financial resources there to at least maintain a really basic standard of living. Now, the next level up from there takes a few years to kind of build that between financial security and financial liberty, that level 3, or financial freedom, or whatever you like to call it. At this level, an individual has created and accumulated enough assets, and those assets might be cash in the bank, shares, property, superannuation. They've created enough of an assets or portfolio there that the income that's generated from those assets is enough to fund their entire lifestyle. So if we use an example of, say, life costs you in an ideal life $70,000 a year. And so those assets that might have accumulated, financial assets that are generating an income, might look like something like $1.4 million. And if you got a return of 5% per annum on that, that could generate that $70,000 a year from you. So that is that level of financial freedom or financial liberty. You have created and accumulated enough assets that is paying an income stream to cover your cost of living. So at this level, you really do have a financial liberty or financial freedom, because you can work because you because you want to work, not because you have to work, because you've got enough of a financial buffer behind you that's generating enough income from that to replace your salary if you weren't working anymore. So that level of financial freedom is a really good place to be. Now, the top level, the top part of the pyramid there is what we call financial abundance. So at this level, an individual has accumulated enough assets that it doesn't matter how much they spend, the money just keeps growing and growing and growing. So I reckon at level 4, that financial abundance, money does grow on trees because you keep picking it and it just keeps growing. So this might account for maybe 2% of the world population. So why am I sharing this model with you? So I've got a couple of questions that you can now ask yourself, having gone through this model. The first question is, what level are you at today? So perhaps you're just starting out in your financial journey and you're at that financial instability. You haven't saved up some money there. You're kind of in that pay to pay cycle. Maybe you've got some debt that's you're still paying off. So you're at that level of financial instability. Maybe you're kind of somewhere between financial instability and financial stability. You're working up to save that emergency buffer plan and you've looked at your insurances and have those in place. Or maybe you're somewhere between the next two levels or you're at that level. So that's my first question to ask yourself. What level are you at today? The second level you want to ask yourself is, what level do I want to be at and by when? So this is around setting that financial goal for yourself. So you might be at level 0 now or level 1. And so your goal is to get to financial security or financial liberty in, say, 10 or 15 years' time. And now that creates a financial goal that you can work towards. And so then it's about you asking yourself, well, what does financial liberty or financial security look like for me? Is it spending 30,000 a year? Is it spending 70,000 a year? Is it 100,000 a year? What's that number look like for you? And then you've got something as a benchmark to work towards to meet your financial goals. And so I also just want to leave you with, whatever level you're at now, it's not about comparing yourself to anyone else but yourself. This is where you're starting from today. And it's about, where do you want to be and what do I need to do and put in place in order for me to reach that financial goal or whatever level it is you choose to be. So I hope that you found this framework really helpful as a starting point for setting your financial goals. Bye for now.